when you think about some of the people that you look up to, it's not a matter of if they go through life without facing any problems or inconveniences, no matter how big or small. What defines them is how they react to those minor or major inconveniences. Now, funny story today. So I was going on property. I needed to get soil. I needed to get some spare keys to check on on my garage back door. It's a detached garage, and the other day the power went out, and one of the neighbors that uses the garage couldn't actually get in because the back door was locked and the garages obviously don't work because there's no power. So I need to go get a spare key to get the garage door. But Home Depot's on the way to my property. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go to Home Depot first and then go to the property, get the spare key that I think it is, but I'm not really sure which key to use. So I go to Home Depot, I test out actually 2 keys. I get spares of each one, because either way, I mean, I would need them because one of them is the key to the front door and one of them the key to the door to the basement, and they're 2 different keys. And I remember that one of them is the key to the back door. So I make a spare of both, and I'm checking out, and I start going to my car, and I get to my car. Actually, even before that, I look in the bag where the keys are supposed to be, and I only see 1 key. And I'm like, oh my God, one of these keys just fell out on the way here. So I go back, I kind of run back my route and take a look at where I can see if there's a key there or anything like that. Didn't find it. So instead of going back in and making a new one, I just took it as a sign. I was like, all right, let's just hope that this isn't the key that opens the garage, the back garage door. And turns out I was right. However, I didn't know how right I was. When I got there, neither key would have opened the door because 2 things. The first is this back garage door is so old that I didn't even get the key from the seller and nobody uses it. Now, the other thing is the lock doesn't even work on the knob. There's another lock, like one of those things that you see in the hotels, like that, the sliding things, like the deadbolts, and on the inside. So the actual key doesn't do anything at all whatsoever. So kind of a long story just to say that sometimes you're going to go through inconveniences in life, and it's not whether or not you go through them that define you, because everybody will. The best people in the world will, the worst people in the world will, and the only difference between those people is how they react and how they let those inconveniences or issues in their lives affect their day. Now, you can either go back to the store, start cussing them out, or you can, for your own fault, at the very worst, like you gotta be at a different level to do that. Or you can be pissed at yourself, start swearing, and be like, this was a waste of my time, and go back, buy a new one, go to the property, realize it doesn't work, go get a refund, and waste your time like that. Or, I don't even know if this was the best move, but it worked out in the end. Do what I did, was say, all right, it might not even been the right key, so let's just go and test it. And if it turned out it is, and we do need a spare, we'll just go back, and then we'll spend the time to do it. But it really turned out that didn't need the key at all, and saves time. Also, it was super unfortunate and annoying, but it saved time. And now, instead of complaining and thinking, okay, what the hell am I gonna do? It's just figuring out, well, I guess it is that, what the hell am I gonna do? So that, how can we solve this problem of my neighbor who uses the garage in a scenario where there's no power and he needs to get to work at 7 a.m. How can he get the garage? Because I'm not driving 30 minutes to open it. And I even couldn't. You'd have to break the door down because it's dead bolted in. And if it's not dead bolted in, it sways open inside. So we can't have that because it's a privacy security risk. So just trying to figure out how to go about it, but not in a way where the annoyance of what happened is clouding my judgment, but actually in a way where, okay, we're thinking, whatever, that happened. Cool, it happened. It happens. It happened as in okay, I'm over it, it happened. It happens as in I'm human. All humans at one point go through this, so what's the point of complaining? And the neighbor understood the issue that happened, so that's all settled with him. at the end of the day, it's a fact of, okay, you have something come up that goes against your flow or your intention. What are you gonna do about it? You just keep moving. And sometimes you'll find that the thing that you're annoyed about, or the thing that you might think is the problem, turned out to actually be the solution for something you could not have foreseen. Because I mean, again, I'm gonna say this multiple times throughout the video, we're only human and we don't know the future. But sometimes life has a funny way of showing you that you don't know the future. And sometimes you just gotta go with it and accept the flow of life. Because life happens, and again, as humans, we can't just happen. We have to take it in, absorb it, and then react. Or, I mean, be proactive in, I guess like that, you can be proactive in, like for my case, getting a new garage door knob. When I first noticed it, which I didn't, I mean, now I'm thinking about it, I didn't really notice that because nobody uses it. But anyways, that's kind of all I want to talk about today. Funny little story from today, and I think that it really does show that importance of of the fact that it's not about what happens to you, and it's not about complaining and telling people what happened to you. I'm not, like, that's not why I'm sharing this video or this story. It's not about that. It's about, what are you gonna do now that it's happened to you? Because the thing that defines a human, the thing that defines a person, is not what occurs to them, it's what they make out of it. And that's like the most important piece of value I can like convey to you through this video. So I hope it's like coming across properly. One last thing, you see a lot of these stories about successful people who came from nothing, or that had a terrible upbringing, and then you see these criminals who had, which, I mean, you'd be surprised, but had almost an identical upbringing. So when it comes to like nature versus nurture, or I mean, I don't even want to get into that, but when it comes into someone blaming their past or things that they aren't in control of, it's just bullshit. Like, yes, there are things that you are out of your control, and yes, you probably have a disadvantage, and yes, you probably have to work harder, or you definitely have to work harder. But all of that is irrelevant if you just work harder and you just set your focus on growing and taking what life gives you and getting better with it. Because we all have our struggles. We all have problems that we face. Someone who is broke on the street and can't find their next food, and a billionaire's son or daughter have entirely different lives, but both have struggle in them. And some might say that you can't compare those struggles, but I would argue in that it doesn't matter about whether or not the struggle is fighting for your life or fighting for your right to exist. I think that in both, the pain is just as deep, prospectively. Now, if you have them switch places, now that might be different. But each person only knows their own history and their own story. So I guess the other thing I would want to say is, by understanding this and understanding that everybody goes through these issues, stop judging others about how they, holy, car almost just hit me. Stop judging others about how they go through their issues and how they go about fixing them. Obviously, if you're trying to help, go, by all means, go for it. But you never know what someone's going through, or what someone has been going through for their entire life. School bus. All right. See you guys next time. Hope this kind of came across as long as a video. But yeah, that's it. Peace.